Hey everybody, it's your girl El Rochelle here with Hardwood Divas Week 3 NFL picks. So first up tonight, we've got the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Now, of course, this is Andy Reid, former Eagles head coach, coming back to go against his old team he was with for over a decade, a team he, made great in the 2000s. So this is going to be very interesting to watch, to see how this one goes. The Chiefs have been playing amazing these last 2 weeks. I definitely see the Chiefs doing very well, and wanting to do well for their head coach. Eagles, this offense that they're doing, this high pace, high speed, always on offense is great to watch. Whether or not the defense shows up is always one of the questions. I'll go with the Eagles because it's at home. But let's be honest, we could definitely see the Chiefs winning this one too. So don't be surprised. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, very, very, very fun game to watch. So I'm glad they made it the Thursday night game. So Sunday, first up in the slate of 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern games, we've got the Rams versus my Cowboys. No, I am not unbiased. I have a team. I am sorry if y'all don't like it, but I do. I love the Cowboys. They actually lost to the Chiefs last week. So they're 1-1 right now. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys at home versus the Rams. Haven't seen much out of the Rams to make me think that they could beat the Cowboys. So we'll see. And Jason Garrett did say they do need to focus more on the run. I really want them to do that because I think it will open up even more for Miles, Jason Witten, and for Dez Bryant. So I want to see that. And I actually like DeMarco Murray. We'll see if he actually lives up to the hype that he's been given. But let's see. I think we can go with the Cowboys for this week. Next up, Packers versus the Bengals. Bengals have done pretty good themselves this last couple of weeks. They're 1-1. However, the Packers looked unstoppable last week. I know some people tried to say that the Redskins came back, but let's be honest. The Packers just not gave up, but they just stopped really playing that hard. They were ahead by a lot, so it didn't really matter. So I'm going with the Packers in this one, but do think the Bengals will give up much more of a fight than the Redskins did. So then we've got the Giants versus the Panthers. The Giants. I mean, now let's be real. Neither one of these teams is great. The Giants have been terrible to watch personally these first couple of weeks, but I think they can beat the Panthers, and that's about the end of that. So the Bucs and the Patriots, two teams that both played the Jets in the first 2 weeks. Patriots did a little better than the Bucs did, so I guess I'll pick the Patriots, but the Patriots looked horrendous last week. Terrible. I had Tom Brady in fantasy, and he killed everything for me. Well, almost killed everything. Luckily, the person I was going up against had some pretty terrible people their people had pretty terrible games last week. But I'll go with the Patriots, but that's not like something I really am for sure about. And the Bucs, whatever. Patriots will be interesting this year. We'll see how this goes. Texans versus the Ravens. Ravens have looked deplorable. No other word for it. I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't help. Ray Rice got hurt. Their defense just isn't looking like the defenses that we've seen from the Ravens. I know people will say, of course, it's because of Ray Lewis. I just think it's more actually Ed Reed than it is Ray Lewis. But, whatever. Texans. Lions versus the Redskins. The Lions, I still have to see more out of the Redskins to trust them. They do not do well in the first half. They come on a little better in the second, but that first half is terrible. And I don't want to give them any credit against a Lions team that has Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Reggie Bush. Well, we'll see. He'll probably be questionable or probable this week. We'll see what happens with him. But I think they'll be a little bit better than the Redskins are. Cardinals versus the Saints. Both of these teams are good, but Saints at home are nearly unstoppable. So I'm going to go with the Saints. Chargers versus the Titans. Chargers, only because I haven't seen very much out of the Titans. And the Chargers somehow eked out a win against the Eagles last week, which was really interesting to watch. Then we've got the Browns versus the Vikings. This is quite easy, especially if you know that the Browns clearly have given up for this season. I know their coach says otherwise, but when you trade away your best player, you're letting us know you just don't care anymore. They traded Trent Richardson yesterday to the Colts for a first-round draft pick. So no, they're not going to beat the Vikings at all. They're clearly now in a fight with the Jaguars for the worst team in the league. So this is going to be interesting to watch for the rest. This is the only reason why the rest of the season will be interesting for the Browns and the Jaguars. Who's going to get the first pick in the 2014 NFL Draft? 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern games. Falcons versus the Dolphins. Falcons. Dolphins have actually looked kind of decent, but the Falcons. Colts versus the Niners. This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what this Trent Richardson, I don't know if he'll be able to play this week though. This is kind of a tight window. But once he is fully in there to play, it's going to be very interesting. But the Niners at home, got to pick them. I know they didn't look great against the Seahawks, but nobody looks great against the Seahawks in Seattle. If anyone thinks last week's game for them signifies anything, you clearly know nothing about Seattle. Playing in Seattle is horrible, and everyone says that. They have lost terribly in Seattle last couple of years. But let's be real. When Seattle comes to Candlestick, they don't do so well themselves either. So, last week was not an indication of the NFC West shift of power. There is no shift. The two of them are fighting at the top as they've been doing for the last couple of years. There is nothing different about it. It's going to go to the end like it always does. We'll see. Russell Wilson definitely needs to improve. Their defense Seattle's defense looked impeccable, but we're talking about the Niners. Sorry. 49ers against the Colts. That's easy. Bills versus the Jets. Bills have actually looked kind of interesting. EJ Manuel's actually doing better than expected. The Jets, I don't know how to describe it. They're not horrible. It's just they're, working with a rookie quarterback who needs some time. He has his really good moments and he has his really bad moments. He could have got a win against the Patriots, but he's a rookie. He kind of has his days, so I'm not surprised by that. But I'm going to go with the Bills for this one. Jaguars versus the Seahawks. I have to say it just because I have to say it, but come on, let's all be honest. We know it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks. The Jaguars are terrible. I told you. 0-16. 0-16. Alrighty, so our Sunday night game is going to be the Bears versus the Steelers. Bears. The Steelers are terrible to watch. I'm sorry. I need them to just be in like this middling 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. time frame. I can't have them on special games because they're boring to watch. They're terrible. Gonna go with the Bears. Bears are about to be 3-0. Interesting. All right, Monday, we've got the Raiders versus the Broncos. Who would have thought a game with the Raiders and the Broncos might actually be interesting? Just a little bit. I do think Peyton Manning's going to assault them like he's been doing everyone else. But I think the Raiders might make it interesting at least. Maybe. We'll see. Well, guys, there you have it. Those are my games. Let me know what you think. What are your picks? And please have fun in my comments. I love talking back to people. I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. But don't get it twisted. You come at me, I'm coming for you. I know what I'm talking about. Love y'all. Deuces.